All-Ireland final time again, and I'm joined by Dublin Banisher Jim Gavin. Another final. You're obviously delighted with that.
Yeah, we're thrilled to get over the challenge of Galway and get back into a final. It's a lot of hard work has gone into it this year, and just looking forward to the coming weeks for preparation.
I tried to get it out of you in the post-match. What did you do to figure out how to nullify Galway in the second half? And you fobbed me off with the whole, I haven't had time to digest it yet. You've had the time now. So what do you think? Did you just kind of maybe during the process of the first half maybe figure out this is how I'm going to put a stop to some of the lads in Galway who are running right, and this is how we do it, and you kind of figured it out nearly like a puzzle? Yeah,
well, I think most games are a bit of a puzzle, and half time is only a break in play, and that's all it is. A lot is talk about the score at half time, but it's really just a chance for players just to probably catch their breath more than anything else. I think one of the characteristics of this Dublin team is their capacity to adapt and to respond to the challenges that other teams set them. And again, to their credit, that whether we ask them as a management team to play for 7 minutes or for 70 minutes, they'll do their very best for the team. I realise that they all want to play, and that's they push each other so hard to get game time. But once the match day arrives, they'll just do the right thing for the team.
Tyrone, of course, bring a different puzzle.
They do, yeah. They've been very impressive. We played them earlier on in the National League back in February. Again, quite a close game. We just got a couple of scores towards the end and ran out the victory. But travelled back to Omagh there in the last couple of weeks in the quarter-final round robin series of games. Nip and tuck in that game. Only a kick of a ball between us. They limited us to probably 14 scores in the game. Great atmosphere, just a really great occasion, and they look really impressive going into the game. They played Roscommon the previous week, and before that they played Cork, and then over those two games they scored 7 goals and 44 points. So probably spoke in volumes to us how potent they are as an attacking team. Probably doesn't get enough airtime, but they are really impressive going forward.
The fact that you've met with them twice already this year in the league and the championship, is that a help or a hindrance in your preparations? Is it like, for example, would you prefer to go in cold into an All-Ireland final against somebody that you hadn't played maybe once or not at all this year, or the fact that this is your third go on the merry-go-round, does that help or does it hinder?
It is what it is, kind of. It's most of our preparation will go on what we need to do, because that's what we can control. It'll help both sets of teams, players. They'll be a little bit more familiar with their opposing players. But once the ball is thrown in, the talk that goes around a game of this significance, it's forgotten about, and it's really that's the great thing about championship football. You just don't know what's going to happen, despite all the talk that people will say about this team will win or this team will lose. It's championship football is about on the day, and that's the beauty of the sport.
Finally, I was just thinking down memory lane. For example, 1995, I can remember you playing, and I was thinking perhaps some of the older gentlemen in your team remember it as well, and you might have been one of their heroes, and they might have emulated you. When you were a young lad and when you were growing up, who did you look up to?
Certainly the 70s team would have been in one's conscious, and then the great teams of Dublin teams of the 80s, particularly that team of 83, Kieran Duff, Brian Mullins in midfield, Tommy Drum, John O'Leary, who was very fortunate to play with. So, they had some fantastic players in that team. Joe McNally, who's a very good friend. So, that and the way they played their football, we've tried as best to try and keep that tradition of attacking-based football, because that's what's in Dublin club football. Obviously, your defence is such an important part of the modern game as well.
Doesn't always work out though. Sometimes the attacking might go to the wayside ever so slightly as you guys hold on to the ball to waiting for the runner. I mean, I think it makes complete sense. I don't get why people pull it apart sometimes. It's the sensible option. You hold on to it till you can. But I suppose when you think of the teams of the 80s, probably a little bit more naive.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think they were naive. I think there was some fantastic teams in the 80s. Just the game was different. It was a more man-to-man game. And so there's probably a lot more space on the pitch to play football, to be more attacking on both sides. So the game has just evolved. That's just a natural evolution of the game. I think it's fascinating. for a management team, for all counties to meet these challenges, and that's the beauty about the sport, that it keeps evolving.
And before I let you bolt out the door, is there anything from your playing days in the 90s that you now bring to your coaching and your management? Is there anything that you think that's something good that I learned that I want to pass on to this team?
Yeah, good question. I suppose after 95, I played in the team that 94 down Bellis in the All-Ireland final, 93 Derry in the semi-final, or in the semi-final, 92 Donegal in the final. And when that team won in 95, the lesson I probably learned is that there are no guarantees in sport, because 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000 and 2001 and 2002 we didn't even win a provincial title. So this current team, we've always said to them that they need to be present and never trade off the past, because there are no guarantees in sport. Despite what people might say and speculate, it is championship football. The great thing, it is all about on the day, and all we can do as a managing team is try and prepare the team as best they can. And if they can go out, the Dublin football team, and just be their best, that's really all we can ask them. If they can do that, hopefully we'll get the rub, the green and the bounce of the ball in the All-Ireland final.